Hello, my name is Nicole, and I'm currently a PCLL candidate, which means I'm in my final year of law school in the University of Hong Kong. Just some background about me. I was born in Portland, Oregon, in the US. I moved here shortly after, and I have been in Canadian International School from reception to eighth grade. So throughout that time, I was very involved with the sports teams, as well as the drama club. I played volleyball and basketball and badminton. And then after eighth grade, I went to boarding school in America. So I did grade 9 to 12 in a boarding school in Western Massachusetts. And during that time, I still played a lot of sports. Um, I did volleyball as well. And during that time, I already started tutoring little kids. We have something called the Big Brother, Big Sister program. So every Friday night, I'll have a little sister. She was, I think, I looked after her for 2 years. So she was 9 to 11 during that time, and I would play with her every Friday night as well as help her out with her homework. And outside of that, I also did some community service work. We lived near a lot of farms, so we helped with some farming works around our school. And then after Deerfield, I first went to Boston College for 2 years. Um, I realized during that time that I wanted a more city environment, so I transferred to New York University, which is where I got my major in economics and my minor in web programming. I learned how to code during that time, which is very cool. I learned how to code in Python and HTML. And during that time, I actually also helped with, as an extracurricular, I helped with tutoring adults in GED, which is a general education diploma equivalent to the SAT. And I helped adults with the science and math, which is actually quite fun. It's also I realized it was very different talking to adults because it's more like you're talking to a peer. But I really enjoyed that experience. Outside of that, I was part of the Chinese Students Association, and I also was an editor for one of our magazines called the Spoon Magazine. It's sort of like a food blog. We had an online version and a paper version, and I first started acting as a photographer for the magazine, and then later on, I became more involved, and then I started running the meetings and just helping the writers brainstorm ideas. And I would say we met around 2 or 3 times a week, once with the general writers and once just with the editors. So after I graduated from NYU, I came back home to Hong Kong, and I started my JD degree in the University of Hong Kong as well. During this time, I really enjoyed my JD degree. It was definitely a lot more grueling than my undergraduate. But I worked in a clinical legal education with HKU. So I partnered up with someone in our class, and we helped duty lawyers, who are lawyers who provide free legal advice to just any layman who comes into the clinic. So me and my partner would first interview, which is more like a fact-finding process, get to know the client's case, and then afterwards there will be a follow-up interview with an actual duty lawyer, where the duty lawyer would give advice on the client's case, look at the merits. And prior to that, me and my partner usually had to write up first a summary of our meeting, and then we had to write up a research memo on what we thought were the merits of the case. So it was actually quite a practical and learning experience for the students, because not only did we have to, in the classroom setting, you rarely deal with an actual client, so we actually got to talk to some of these clients and then apply what we were learning in class, and weigh the merits of the case and look at the pros and cons. And it was also quite refreshing just to work with them. And over the 2 summers, I've worked at 2 law firms, Bird and Allen and Overy. And I would be starting my formal training contract with Bird in 2020. So I have a gap year, and this is why I'm here right now applying for Teach for Hong Kong. Thank you.